is the Morning Drive. मैं हूँ भैरवी. With me is Shardul, and joining us, ladies and gentlemen.
So I was sitting with Bhairavi and I was like, I need to call the coolest and the most trending people on social media. And the one name that came unanimously on my social media feed, and I was like, I saw the number of followers, like, that's it.
We've got Khalid Al Ameri in our studio.
How are you? I'm great, man. This is our first interview of the year. And it's an honor to be here. And
we're so happy you made it.
Thank you so much, Bhairavi. I just want to make sure I'm saying your names correctly. Bhairavi and Shardul.
Bhairavi.
Bhairavi. I'm horrible with names.
That's okay.
In general. So I apologize if I annihilate your name in the process of this.
It is a difficult name though.
Yeah, Bhairavi. Actually, both our names are very unique and difficult.
I think Indian names are just so heavy.
Yeah. Like Arabic names.
But Arabic names are also
we can put a bit of
Yeah, like my neighbor she just delivered recently, and like a tiny little 1 week old baby, and she's like, that's Khalifa. I was like, oh my god, Sheikha, relax.
Yeah. That's weird. My son's name's Khalifa.
Oh, yeah. Well, there we go.
But see, we think about names as the kids grow up.
Exactly, right? As their personalities.
So as their personality grows up. And what's weird is the kids... subhanAllah, we say that the kid's name comes when they're born. And they grow into their personality. So when I see Khalifa now as a 14-year-old, or I see my son Abdullah as a 12-year-old, I'm like, they can't be any other name.
Touch wood.
So did your parents know that, you are going to become this... I think it's safe to say you're the first Arab influencer sensation from UAE. If I'm correct?
He's going to be modest about this.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I think...
Just open your Instagram, you'll know.
Alhamdulillah. I think we work really hard. I think we've broken a lot of boundaries that weren't broken before.
Yeah.
I think we're very global in our audience. We're very broad in our audience. And I know a lot of other creators that are doing great work within the region, but I think we've really cracked that border or that boundary between us and the Western world and other parts of the world, both in the UAE and across the world. Alhamdulillah. So we've done incredible work. I'm so proud of the team and I and what we're able to do and what we're still able to do. Alhamdulillah.
So I've been following you for quite a few years, and I think that's the first thing that I told you, that initially when people saw Khalid's videos, he broke this wall between the Emiratis and the rest of the world, and a lot of people, a lot of expats in the UAE, because everyone's like, oh, Arbab is here, they don't
everybody's scared, and you came. So how did this idea come about?
Well, I think it's because I don't think I'm an exception to the rule, right? I don't think I'm different than my fellow countrywomen and countrymen.
Yeah.
I think hospitality is in our blood as Emiratis.
True.
I think we are incredibly approachable. I think we're a lot of people say, "Oh, Khalid, you're funny" and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I got that from my dad and his friends. And they were all funny, and all I know a lot of family friends and Emiratis who are funny in school. All across the spectrum.
Yeah.
So for me, I thought, I want to be a representation of
your culture.
We are. The kindness that we have, the joviality that we have, the fun loving that we have. And I get it. Okay, we have to have a certain level of formality when we go out because we're representing our country.
Yeah.
But when we talk as human to human, we're all about just the joy of life.
Yeah.
And I thought, I want to break that wall. And so for me, that was probably the most important part. Is I don't think I've just done it for Khalid and the rest of the world and the rest of the expat community here. I think I've done it between different people in different communities. We're gonna keep doing it. We're gonna keep building bridges. That's the thing that I always say. Everyone can always ask, how would you describe Khalid and Khalid's work? I'll always say we build bridges. We build bridges between communities because I feel there are too many people around the world that are trying to build walls. So for me, it's
what an answer!
Love it.
This deserves an applause.
Love it.
But you guys, you're driving. You don't start applauding because you'll be in trouble.
Hands on the wheel. Huh?
So we are going to be asking you really improper, really controversial questions.
Oh, right? Okay.
He's like,
there we go.
Are we okay?
Will I have a career after this?
Actually, that's the thing with social media. The moment you have a controversy, your career gets doubled up because you.
Is that it? Oh yeah.
That's how it works in India.
But speaking of careers, what was your career before you became an influencer?
I was an investment analyst.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, and before that I used to work on ships.
As what?
Doing what?
I was like, I was beginning when I started. I was like used to clean the ships. So when I was 17, I would spend like 4 months at a time on board the ship, and I would do everything from like cleaning, sweeping, painting, and then I worked up to an officer, like navigation. Then I did that for about a year and a half. Came back on shore, worked at an investment company for about 6-7 years. Went to the States, did my master's, came back, worked in a hospital for a year, and then I started media full time.
That's
crazy.
What have you not done?
Yeah.
So
I had no idea.
What made you leave your 9 to 5 job?
I had just come back. Well, what sort of opened my eyes to a different world was when I actually left the corporate world to go do my master's in the States. So it was kind of like hitting a reset button at that point. So I escaped my comfort zone, if you will, and went to the States, and I was able to meet other people, take other classes in industries that I was always interested in. I was always interested in media. I was always interested in being an entertainer. Even from when I was a kid, my parents knew it. Whenever a camera was on, I was in front of it. I would light up. And but the way it was when I was growing up, there wasn't really many career options that you would see that you see today. And being in media, I mean, in India you have sort of the same culture. Your parents want you to.
We have two options: engineer, doctor.
Same thing. But what they want is stability. What they want for you is stability. Too many of our parents have heard the whole starving artist, and they just want you to be stable so they can rest and know that you're okay. So I went into that career, which was a safe bet. But then I came back and khalas, I was like, I learned a lot about media. I learned about the opportunities that I had there. I knew I was good at it. I knew I had a competitive advantage because it naturally came to me. I've never had any media training, any acting training. It just, from watching movies, from being inspired by people like Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, I always had it. And when I came back to the UAE from the States, I was working in the hospital, but I was also doing like Snapchat at the time, doing videos, and they would start popping off. Then I got an opportunity to do a show at CNN. So my boss at the time, I went to my boss at the time and I said, look, my dream opportunity has come up to do a show at CNN. It's 1 month. I had like, you know how you can like build up leave over the year? I had leave for like 2 months. I'm just like, can I take a month of leave and go do it? And they said no.
Oh,
and I think I made a mistake there. I think the fact that I went to him and said, this is my dream.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you can go to your boss and say something other than working.
Yeah, like, is this not your dream? Aren't you like living your dream?
Yeah. Isn't it your dream to show up and do what I tell you? No.
Isn't 9 to 6 a dream?
But like it might be the dream for some, but it wasn't for me. Yeah. And I think that was the sort of the red flag. So I had to quit my job to go do it. And I thought, I have a year of savings. I have my MBA to fall back on. I was 32 at the time. I'm like, if I do not, and my kids were still relatively young, that I could maybe make a mistake and come back from it. Yeah. But if I didn't take the chance now, it was done. Yeah. It was over. I'm like, I've got the opportunity. It's right there. Yeah. It's right there. If I do not take it, then Khalid, internally I said, do not ever complain about your life again. This is what you are. This is what you're going to do. You're going to grow up in the corporate. You're going to get to where you need to go. You're going to be happy doing it. You're going to not make your life about your job. You're going to do your work. You're going to go home and find happiness in other things, which is fine for a lot of people. And it's great if that's what you want, but it wasn't for me. But that's not you. It wasn't for me. If I'm sitting in an office, my soul is dying. It really is. So
stop, Khalid, because I'm just about to tell my boss that I'm about to put.
I quit.
But like to me, I've realized one thing through that lesson. Yeah. And this is what I'll leave that with: is when I was working in corporate. Again, just to be clear for your listeners, I'm not against any way of work. This is not a corporate versus entertainer versus entrepreneur. It's about doing what you love. What makes you happy? Yeah, what makes you happy? I know people in corporate that love their job, and and that's incredible because you're doing what you want to do. This is your choice. What I'm saying is, if you're doing something that you know you don't want to be doing. Yeah. When I was working in corporate, I was getting, alopecia when your hair falls out, stress related.
Because of stress,
Yeah, from stress. I was getting an infection as either sinus or cold or something every month. I swear to you, and Allah is my witness. And those sicknesses would come from I don't know what, because I wasn't doing anything. I was just living my normal life. But it's that stress in the back of your head that's eating away at you.
You're not being happy.
You know, in the 7 years since I've quit my job, I think it's 7 years now, not once have I had the stress alopecia, or once, alhamdulillah, have I had an infection for no reason.
Because now you're on your own.
Because
you're doing what makes you happy.
You're aligned. You're on the, like for me, I like to say I'm on the path that I believe Allah has put me on this world to do. And when you're on that path and everything's aligned, you wake up, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So everyone says, what's the fountain of youth? What's the secret to staying young? What's the secret to being happy? I swear to you, and I've met so many people from different demographics, people who are making, 10,000 dirhams a month, 5,000 dirhams a month, people who are making $1 million. The one common thing that I've found in people who are happy or not happy is the happy ones are doing what they love regardless of how much they're making. I mean, obviously you have to make enough to survive and to live, but the ones who are unhappy, whether they're multi-millionaires or making next to nothing, are the ones who are not doing what they want to do in this life.
Wow. That's true.
Wallah.
That's true. But I also think that as much as you should follow your dreams, but because today is a Friday, we should blame some bosses as well. Because there are some bosses who make your life really miserable. If you're a boss,
hey, are you listening?
I
don't mean that. No, we're just messing.
Is the boss gonna come at me after this thing?